Mr. Transformer 76 here from the video review. This time I'm going to be reviewing a new Build-A-Figure. This time it's from the McFarlane DC Multiverse Suicide Squad line, and it's King Shark, so this is very exciting. There's two different versions of this Build-A-Figure. One is a legitimate Build-A-Figure that you build when you buy the 4 figures in the wave, and then another one is a Walmart exclusive single pack, which isn't really a Build-A-Figure because you can just buy it on its own. Although I've ordered that Walmart one, it's not out quite yet, or at least at the time of filming this, so of course I don't have that version, but I will go over the differences between this version and that one, because there are a few, even though there's just a few. But let's get talking about this. I'm very excited for the new movie, and this character is the one that I'm the most looking forward to of the new movie. Just as a character in general, I really like King Shark. I feel like whatever type of medium he's in, and no matter how differently he's portrayed, I always just really enjoy him. So I'm very excited to see his first cinematic debut, which is really exciting. Let's get on to the Build-A-Figure. Obviously, this is unlike any Build-A-Figure we've really had before, and we've had a King Shark Build-A-Figure previously. Unfortunately, I don't have it anymore, but I did build that when it originally came out. This is a very different type of design. One thing that's interesting with King Shark is that there are so many different types of designs that you can go with, and you can do him as a tough, like really formidable foe, large, beefy character, similar to what the Flash show does, or you can do him a little bit more kind of chunky and comical, like the Harley Quinn animated series type thing, and he's been portrayed kind of both ways in the comics too, so there's a lot that you can do with him, which is fun. He's a neat character because of that. And also, one big thing that, depends comic to comic or just what form of medium you're watching, is what type of shark is he? Is he this shark with the pointy face, or does he have the hammerhead look? I always do prefer the hammerhead, to be honest, and apparently that was James Gunn's top choice for this, but when doing the screen tests with the hammerhead, it was almost impossible to really understand where he was looking, while this has a much more focused, and you can really, tell where he's looking and things like that. So really down to the eyes is why we're getting this version. Let's talk about the figure though. Figure's great. The breakdown for it is quite extensive. The arms, and I might be mistaken on this, I believe that the arms together come with Bloodsport. The torso, basically pants down, come with Harley Quinn. The belly and the head come with Polka Dot Man, I believe, and then the midsection comes with Peacemaker. So that's kind of the breakdown for it all. He is rather heavy when you put him together. A couple of the specific pieces that you'll notice are really heavy. The ones that the stomach and the head, those are heavy. Those are like solid, like they're actually filled kind of all the way through type of pieces, while the torso is hollow. The arms seem to be a bit heavy too, and then the legs have some beef to them as well. But the top torso section is hollow. It would have been really nice if that was solid, because I think mainly everything else is, so that would really give him some heft. He's got such a nice large look to him though. I think that the way that he's put together is really nice too. He's obviously has all the points for that articulation, but he's not, he doesn't look too broken down. And with some of his odd proportions and shapes, like there's no clear spot for his joint for his neck, and same thing with the torso. So I think that they do a really good job of where they position the joints and the range that you get with it too. I'm very impressed with the range. So that's something I kind of want to start off with too. Let's go over the head articulation. So the head can look side to side, pretty decent amount. He can look down this far, and he can look up this far, which is quite extensive. I mean, for this type of joint, that is really impressive, I have to say. He's got normal ball hinge shoulders, good articulation there. He has hinge swiveling elbows, as well as hinge swiveling wrists. He has a ball jointed upper torso, and that's about the range for it. He's got a ball jointed waist, and that's got some serious range, and for how chunky he is, that really has some good range. Now obviously if he extended too much, you're going to kind of see in there, and you can start to see some of his joints for his thighs, but that's a very minor thing. He has a hinge swiveling thigh, but because they did this with Bane too, his pants are a rubber pants, which, I mean, they look nice, because they're all one piece, but I would much prefer the pants be just like the figure, where it's actually broken down into joints inside of it. because the way that they have it now, you really don't get much articulation. I mean, you can kind of do the legs side to side, but you're not going to get much forward at all. The knees have a hinge, but they're virtually impossible to use because using it is bending this significantly, and I've barely got a bend in here. So not much articulation there. Ankles, though, are hinge, and they're a tight hinge. There we go. They're a tight hinge, so you've got a hinge swivel there. Swivel works quite nice, and then he's got a hinge at the toe, which is very good as well. I find that a lot of times when you stand him, the toe sometimes tends to like go up, so you just kind of, before you like take a picture or something, just gotta remember to like pop that down. I would be okay without the toe hinge, to be honest. If there's any portion of him where the seam of the joint annoys me, it is this toe. I think that it looks a little odd, and I've really never been able to use it very well because of the lack of articulation in the legs. You really don't need that toe hinge, so if it was me, I would just remove that. I think the cleaner look would just be better in general. Also a little cheaper for them, so it's a bit of a bonus. He's got his fin back here. You can see his gills, just looking really cool. The texture of him is very nice. You do, if you get in close, you have like the physical texture of his skin, which I think looks really nice. And then in places there's some cuts and scrapes and portions like that. The coloring is nice too. It is a fully dark gray when it comes to just the majority of his body. It's dark gray, but then it has this washed and like speckled effect where it transitions into this light gray, which I think looks really nice. The transition for it is quite good too, so that's impressive. The pants are a bright blue, but they do have like a cream wash into them, and with the fact that the pants are sculpted with this kind of checkered design, that wash really comes out, which is very cool. The other point of articulation, and just kind of something I want to talk about on its own, which is why I didn't include it, is the jaw. The jaw does articulate, which is nice. So the furthest that you can have it is like this, where you can completely shut his mouth, which I think is really cool. And the seam is really nice. Like, that's a really nice connection there. It doesn't look like it's broken up much. To open it, you just pop it down, and you can fully open his mouth too. So now if you do it fully open, you get this look. You can see his top teeth, and they even have the gums painted, which is really nice. You can do in between though, and if you do it in between, you don't get the top teeth. You only get the bottom teeth, but I actually think that that looks really cool. Now, the movie's not quite out yet, of course, but it kind of depends if you want him in an aggressive pose or more of just a goofy pose. This character is going to be very stupid in the movie, as he's portrayed sometimes, so it's not super out of character or anything. But he also will have moments of great aggression, it looks like, too. So it'll be interesting to see. You can kind of, with the mouth, demonstrate whatever pose you're doing. And if you're doing like I had this started out with, where the hand's just fully up, you can have it a little bit more shut, give him more of that dumb look, but with the mouth a little bit open. And then if you want to have him ripping somebody apart, that you can do full out mouth and give him that aggressive look, which is very cool. And yeah, you can see that very nicely. So let's do a little size comparison, as well as talk about the differences, although I don't have it currently. I will get it. The Walmart exclusive. And for the size here, we have another figure in the wave itself, and it's Bloodsport. So here he is standing next to him. Overall, quite a large, nice size figure for the Build-A-Figure. He's quite a bit taller than Bloodsport, but then the majority of King Shark's mass really comes from his bulk. He's not super tall. He's certainly taller than your average person, but he's not like a giant. It really comes from the bulkiness, the fat belly, the beefy arms and legs, and the massive head. That's where you get a lot of bang for your buck with this one. So overall, he's a great size Build-A-Figure. I believe that McFarlane has said that it's the biggest Build-A-Figure that they've done to date, which is pretty impressive, I must say. But you can really see it here. And, in person, I always find when I was taking pictures of this guy, I get him in a pose where I thought looked great, and I go to take a picture, and it just wouldn't look all that good in the picture. I find that this is one of those figures that just looks darn good when you have it in person, and it looks good in pictures. But it doesn't look as good in pictures as it does in person, so if you do get this, I will probably say to you that having it in person, it has a bit of a different feel to it, and it just looks a little bit more complete, a little bit more 3D when it's suits in front of you, which, you know, is obviously the same with everything, but it really comes across better with this guy than it does with a picture. The differences between him and the Walmart version is just paint. The actual sculpt is the exact same thing, so nothing different, but the differences with paint are that around the lips, and actually not in the jaw section at all, I believe it's just the lips like around here, he has blood, which I thought was strange because the blood on the top is nice, but the blood down here, if you have his mouth kind of like this where it's a little closed, it's a little strange just to kind of have like blood on his chin. When you put his mouth all the way down, then it looks like it's more on the lip, so then it's okay. So that's one thing that he includes, which I think is a nice addition, but I wish that they went a little bit more all out with it, maybe some more blood around him. And then the pants, he's wearing like different pants, which I think is interesting. They're not pants that I've seen in any of the promotional images, so I'm not sure how accurate that they are, but they're more of a tan with some green wash in it, just very slightly. So the pants are very similar, but these are definitely dark blue, while there is a bit of a difference with the other one. And then something that's different, but that's not really a part of the figure, is the accessories. That exclusive version comes with a severed arm and leg, so those will be included as well as additional accessories. So to be honest, I'm getting both because I'm a huge King Shark fan and I really like this figure. I think it's excellent. But if you're not both of those, I would probably recommend to get one or the other. If you want the set, then Build-A-Figure. Even if you want just 2 or 3 figures of the set, I think it would probably be worth it just to get all 4. One thing that's really nice about DC versus Marvel is that DC's Build-A-Figures are not a huge commitment. They're only 4 figures, while Marvel, of course, is 6 to 7 usually. So it's definitely a lot easier, and it's more gratifying because you get to build them faster, which is cool. If you don't have interest in the actual figures themselves, or maybe you only want one, then I think the Walmart exclusive might be the best one for you. And when I get them in person, who knows, I might do a bit of a comparison to see just based on the figure which one's the better figure. I would probably say, without having the Walmart one, that this maybe is the better figure, because I think the blue pants are a little bit more iconic as far as what he's going to be wearing. And then I think the no blood, although the blood's a neat detail, since it's confined only to his mouth and it's very light, they didn't really go all out. You know, if they did like a battle damage bloody just eating somebody King Shark, that would be great, but they just did a little taste of it, and therefore, you know, as far as the entire figure himself, it's not really needed. But with this guy being somebody that you can break down, let's say you want the bloody head sculpt but you want these colored pants, you can do that as long as you have the pieces. You know, you can obviously mix and match once that one comes out. But there you go, that's my review on this DC Multiverse McFarlane Build-A-Figure for the Suicide Squad, being King Shark. Let me know what you guys think of the figure, and thanks so much for watching.